Hey adventurers, it's Milo. Lance and I just arrived to our own getaway house up in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Georgia. The idea with Getaway is, well, of course, to be a getaway for a weekend. It's to disconnect from the rat race of life and reconnect with the speed of nature. So that's what we're gonna do this weekend. We're gonna take things slow. We don't have any plans really set. It's nice and open schedule. And we are just going to soak up everything that the getaway cabins are so famous for. All of them have a big, beautiful picture window that looks out into a secluded part of nature, which is probably going to be those iconic views that you've maybe seen from Getaway's Instagram or different blog posts, but is definitely eye-catching and a very trendy way to enjoy a view in nature. Of course, from a very plush, queen-size bed. When it comes to planning trips between myself and Lance, it's all about finding balance. So I love to be out in nature, and of course I don't mind sleeping on the ground. Lance, on the other hand, likes things a little bit more on the plush and cushy side, so a queen bed with nice white sheets is much more his speed. So getaway houses is a perfect kind of mixed balance between his likes and my likes. But of course, with all of that comes a private full bath. In fact, we have a walk-in shower. It's very accessible. I think our getaway is probably one of the more accessible versions as far as having a ramped entry, having accessible shower, bathroom, hot water and everything. So really takes all the comfort into mind. Now, we're kind of in a shoulder season here in September, but each of the houses is equipped with AC and heat. So I'm hoping it gets a little chilly at night while we're here, so that way we can pump on the heat and kind of warm up the getaway house. Drinkable water though, which doesn't seem like something that I should mention, but when you think of camping out in the woods, that's something that you have to pack and bring on in. It's a kind of a pain to, fill up all the jugs of water, but here all of it is drinkable water, so we didn't bring jugs and jugs and jugs like we would if we were tent camping. Plus they have stove and all the dishes, so even though Lance and I are habitual overpackers, we didn't completely jam the car full of all of our normal shenanigans when we go out for outdoor adventures like camping. The getaway house made it a lot easier as far as having all those dishes and all that kind of generic equipment, so that way we didn't have to pack all the chairs and all those doodads. We could truly just come and disconnect out in nature. The getaway house property is way bigger than we could have ever expected it to be. I mean, growing up going camping as a kid, I was used to camper, tent. Like they were all in a row. You could see all of them in one perspective. But one thing that getaway houses does really well is everything's landscaped, angled, the topography, the hills really shield things well. And we just did a whole loop around the whole property just to kind of poke around, see what the different tiny houses look like and see truly how big it is, and it shocked us. We probably were walking for a bit over an hour. It was well over a mile, looping around the whole thing. And then we actually found a walking trail too that kind of went up into the woods, which was a nice surprise because we didn't have to repark the car or go find a hiking trail nearby. But now the day's starting to wind down, so we're going to enjoy a little bit of a campfire and relax as the sun starts to set. All right, adventurers, we are all packed up, just locked up our getaway house. So we've officially wrapped up our 2-night stay here in northern Georgia. And you know what? I gotta be honest, it was absolutely fantastic. They do such a good job here from top to bottom, making sure everything is thoughtfully simple, luxurious in a way. It's odd to say it like that, but the tiny house design is so sleek and bare bones, very Scandinavian style, but it makes for a kind of perfect way to disconnect. Also, the whole site of Getaway with all, I guess, probably 30 different little tiny houses is really kind of perfect because of all the topography. You really can't see anybody. In fact, no matter which angle we looked around our tiny house, we had the place to ourselves. So Lance and I were really immersed into nature. It was perfect. I was also surprised that no matter how many people were staying here for the weekend, we couldn't hear anyone. They kind of mentioned in their welcome packet that quiet hours are all hours of the day. So true. Everyone really took that to heart, which was really refreshing, because a great way to unplug in nature is to be quiet in nature. And that was absolutely perfect, especially last night around the campfire. All I could hear was nature all around us. It was not like a busy, typical campground. Will I be back? Oh my goodness, I just got an at my eye. Ugh. Yes, I will be back. We will absolutely, oh, I got it out, don't worry. We will absolutely be coming back to Getaway houses. I thought it was a perfect mix between what Lance looks for in a weekend getaway and what I look for in a weekend getaway. So we'll definitely try to check out some of their other locations, because they really do such a thoughtful job kind of designing it and curating it for everybody. Because yes, all those little details that they put into the Getaway houses, we used their fire starters, we used their dishes, and we definitely used their hot water. Having a steamy hot shower was perfect after a long day of exploring outside. So definitely recommend Getaway houses, and I will say this is going to be our first of many stays with them. But until next time, adventurers, stay tuned for yet another Milo's Wildlife journey. So stick around and we'll talk to you soon.